illusions that keep you weak. You think people see you for who you are, that your intentions are clear, that honesty guarantees respect. But you are already paying for that fantasy. Look around. Do they reward your sincerity? Do they honor the purity of your heart? Or do they exploit it? Dismiss it. Overlook it while they admire the ruthless, the polished, the untouchable. You know the answer. You feel it every time you are ignored, every time you are underestimated, every time your efforts are stolen and paraded under another's name. You are living proof that sincerity without strategy is suicide. Niccolo Machiavelli understood a brutal law that most never face. Power does not belong to the one who is most virtuous, most talented, most deserving. Power bends to the one who commands perception. It is not reality that rules people. It is the shadow cast upon their eyes. If you appear weak, you are weak. If you appear dangerous, you are dangerous. If you appear indispensable, you are indispensable. The battlefield is not truth. The battlefield is perception, and every day, without realizing it, you have been losing that war. You believed the world would treat you fairly if you worked hard. You believed that friends would stay loyal because you stayed loyal. You believed that humility was enough to earn respect. These were not beliefs. These were traps. And you walked into them willingly, because you wanted to believe life was kinder than it is. But the chains around your neck prove otherwise. The job that does not see you, the partner that does not respect you, the so-called allies who praise you to your face while plotting around you. That is the cost of refusing to understand Machiavelli's law of perception. That is the punishment of blindness. You have been trained since birth to mistake honesty for strength. Parents, teachers, preachers told you to just be yourself. They said truth speaks for itself. They lied. They weren't preparing you for reality. They were conditioning you for servitude. Because in the real campaign of life, being yourself means being exposed, undefended, predictable. You became a soldier who walked onto the field without armor, without reconnaissance, without a map of the terrain, and the enemy didn't even need to aim carefully. You were already open, already vulnerable, already bleeding before the first strike landed. Machiavellian strategy demands something different. It demands that you learn to see perception as a weapon, to control it, to craft it, to manipulate it, like a commander moving troops across a battlefield. If people think you are fragile, they will test you until you break. If they think you are dangerous, they will hesitate before every move. If they think you are irreplaceable, they will fight to keep you close. The perception becomes the reality. This is not morality. This is war, and you are already in it whether you want to be or not. Ask yourself, how many times have you been dismissed because your silence looked like weakness, when in truth it was patience? How many times have you been disrespected because your kindness looked like submission, when in truth it was generosity? How many times have you been ignored because your humility looked like irrelevance, when in truth it was restraint? Perception erased your reality, and you did nothing to counter it. That is why you lose. Not because you are less capable, not because you are less intelligent. You lose because you allow others to dictate how they see you. Niccolo Machiavelli once warned that a ruler must not be loved more than feared, but feared more than hated. Strip away the royalty, and it is still your law. If you crave love, you will bend. If you crave approval, you will beg. If you crave fairness, you will wait forever. But if you master perception, you do not need to beg. You dictate. You command. You bend others to your orbit, not through truth, through image, through strategy, through the cold manipulation of the mind. Right now, your life is a supply line leaking from every direction. Your energy is plundered because they see you as a resource, not a force. Your time is drained because they see you as disposable. Your voice is silenced because they see you as irrelevant. That is what perception has done. It has reduced you to a pawn, and as long as you cling to your illusions, you will stay a pawn. Pawns never write history. Pawns are sacrificed. The truth is brutal. People are not seeing you. They are seeing the mask you let slip onto your face when you refuse to control it. You thought masks were lies. No. Masks are weapons. Masks are armor. Masks are the only way to step onto the battlefield without being slaughtered. Machiavelli understood that survival was not about purity, it was about projection. Not about reality, but about illusion. And those who mastered this became rulers. Those who refused became victims. You think your silence is noble. It looks like weakness. You think your forgiveness is divine. It looks like submission. You think your patience is discipline. It looks like irrelevance. Stop lying to yourself. Stop mistaking your invisible virtue for visible power. If they cannot see it, it does not exist. If they do not perceive it, it cannot protect you. Your reality has no meaning unless it is weaponized into perception. And if you refuse to weaponize it, others will weaponize you. You are not in a temple. You are in a war zone. Every room you walk into is a battlefield. Every interaction is psychological warfare. Every smile can be a deception. Every compliment can be reconnaissance. Every favor can be a bribe. And you walk through it with your defenses down, telling yourself, good intentions will shield me. Do you understand how pathetic that looks to a predator? Do you understand how appetizing that looks to those who live by power? You are prey, and prey is not respected. Prey is consumed. Machiavelli's law of perception is not a suggestion. It is not advice. It is a deadly law. You either learn to control how they see you, or you will be destroyed by how they choose to see you. If you are invisible, they will walk over you. If you are soft, they will exploit you. If you are predictable, they will outmaneuver you. You think this is unfair? Of course it is. War is unfair. But war is what you are in. The cost of staying naive is clear. You will be overlooked, underpaid, discarded. You will hand your strength to others and call it generosity. You will let parasites drain your energy and call it love. You will let manipulators twist your reality and call it loyalty. And one day, you will wake up realizing you built nothing. You won nothing. You controlled nothing. Your life was lived as an instrument for someone else's campaign. That is the fate of those who refuse to master perception. That is the graveyard of the naive. But you are not dead yet. You can still choose. You can still strip away your illusions and arm yourself. Strategy is the cure to blindness. Discipline is the cure to weakness. Cold clarity is the cure to self-deception. You do not need to heal. You need to rewire. You do not need to beg. You need to command. You do not need to wait. You need to move. Control begins the moment you decide to weaponize perception instead of being crushed by it. Niccolo Machiavelli dictated that a leader's first priority was not truth but survival. Not sincerity, but control. You must adopt the same. Stop thinking like prey. Start thinking like a commander. The first weapon is your image. You must craft it, sharpen it, project it until it blinds the eyes of those who would strike at you. Speak less. But when you speak, strike, show less. But when you show, overwhelm, reveal nothing you do not wish to be used against you. Hide your weakness, amplify your strength, discipline your body, your voice, your presence, until they project danger. Command. Inevitability. Then, perception becomes your fortress. Then reality bends to your will. You want freedom, you want respect, you want power. Stop expecting it to be given. No one gives power. Power is seized. And perception is the battlefield where it is seized first. Control how they see you, or be destroyed by what they see instead. You keep asking yourself why you are ignored while others rise. You work harder. You sacrifice more. And yet they pass you by. The answer is merciless. They crafted perception while you clung to reality. They understood the crowd does not care about truth. The crowd only cares about the picture painted in their mind. And that picture is easily shaped, easily manipulated, easily twisted. You were busy being real, while they were busy being seen. They won. You lost. Niccolo Machiavelli knew this game 5 centuries ago. He saw that people are not moved by facts, but by appearances. They do not peer into your soul. They scan the surface and make judgments in seconds. The battlefield is not depth, it is surface. If you appear commanding, they will obey. If you appear weak, they will dominate. If you appear certain, they will follow. The perception is the weapon, and every second you fail to sharpen it, you bleed. Do you think your co-workers admire your loyalty? They admire the one who looks indispensable, not the one who silently grinds. Do you think your partner cherishes your sacrifices? They cherish the one who appears difficult to replace. Do you think your friends respect your openness? They respect the one who projects control, not the one who spills their soul for free. Wake up. You are not living in a sanctuary. You are living in a battlefield of eyes. And in war, appearances decide survival before the first sword is swung. You have been blind because you confused being good with being strong. You thought morality guaranteed safety. It does not. You thought sincerity guaranteed trust. It does not. You thought transparency guaranteed respect. It does not. These are the illusions of prey. Prey believes honesty will disarm the predator. But the predator sees honesty as weakness. The predator sees transparency as an opening. The predator sees sincerity as an invitation to consume. Look back at your history. Every time you were betrayed, it was not because you lacked virtue, it was because you lacked defense. Every time you were used, it was not because you lacked talent, it was because you lacked projection. Every time you were abandoned, it was not because you lacked loyalty, it was because you lacked leverage. This is the law. It has always been the law. You just refuse to accept it. Machiavelli's strategy dictates that survival is won not by truth but by image. You must discipline yourself to control every signal you send. The way you stand, the way you move, the tone of your voice, the pauses in your speech, the discipline of your eyes. Every gesture is reconnaissance. Every word is a weapon. Every silence is a maneuver. On the battlefield of perception, nothing is neutral. Either you control it, or it controls you. Ask yourself, how do they see you now? Do you radiate strength? Or do you leak desperation? Do you project certainty? Or do you bleed hesitation? Do you look replaceable? Or do you force them to calculate the cost of losing you? The image you cast dictates the treatment you receive. Stop pretending otherwise. Stop comforting yourself with lies about being understood. You are not understood. You are seen. And what they see decides everything. The weak think control comes later, after success, after recognition, after someone gives them a chance. No, control begins now. Before they know you, before they evaluate you, before they hear your argument. The battle is won or lost in the first impression, the first exchange, the first display of presence. If you enter unprepared, You are already defeated. They have measured you. They have filed you into a category, and that category becomes a prison you built yourself. You wonder why they treat you like a servant. Because you look like one. You wonder why they treat you like a friend, never a leader. Because you project friendliness, not command. You wonder why they treat you like an option. Because you do not look like a necessity. This is the sting of truth. You are seen as what you allow yourself to appear. And if you do not master perception, others will define it for you. Niccolo Machiavelli studied how rulers held control even when surrounded by enemies. He saw that they survived by managing appearances never too soft, never too rigid, never too open, never too closed, always disciplined, always deliberati, always shaping what others saw, even if it was far from the truth. This is the way of power. You cannot afford to appear exactly as you are. You must appear as they must believe. And the gap between the two is your weapon. Do not mistake this for deception in the petty sense. This is not about lying to gain scraps. This is about warfare. In war, camouflage is survival. In war, feints and maneuvers win battles. In war, you do not show your supply lines, your weaknesses, your exhaustion. You show strength. You show readiness. You show inevitability. And because they perceive it, they hesitate. Their hesitation is your victory. What is the cost of staying naive? It is not just humiliation. It is not just exploitation. It is the permanent forfeiture of your will. The naive live under the command of the cunning. The idealists serve as the foot soldiers of the strategists. The weak-willed bend their lives to reinforce the strong-willed, and every day you refuse to learn this law. You deepen your chains. You are not free. You are controlled, and the control is exercised not with whips or chains, but with the images you allowed others to hold of you. You keep wondering when your moment will come. It will not. There is no moment waiting for you. There is only war. And in war, your hesitation is the enemy's feast. Your passivity is their advantage. Your invisibility is their weapon. If you want to stop being dominated, you must begin dominating perception itself. You must treat it as your campaign. Study it, train it, sharpen it. You must become the commander of your own image. Otherwise, you will remain the soldier who never knew they were already at war. So what must you do? First, kill the illusion that honesty protects you. Honesty without strategy is a liability. Second, discipline your image until it projects the power you need. Stand as if you cannot be moved. Speak as if you expect to be obeyed. Move as if you already command the field. Third, reveal less than you know. Conceal your weaknesses. Allow only your strengths to be seen. And finally, stop waiting to be discovered. Force perception. Zeitze control. Machiavelli's law of perception is merciless. It does not reward the innocent. It does not pity the sincere. It rewards only those who wield perception like a weapon, those who project strength, even in weakness, those who project certainty, even in doubt, those who project inevitability, even in chaos. This is not deception, it is discipline. It is the discipline to control how they see you, no matter how you feel, because feelings do not win battles. Perception does. You must stop imagining that people see the complexity inside you. They don't. They won't. They can't. They see a surface. They see fragments. They see what you allow them to see. And from that, they write your entire identity. It doesn't matter if they're wrong. It doesn't matter if you think you're misunderstood. Their perception rules. Their perception governs your fate more than your reality. and you have lived enslaved to images you never controlled. Niccolo Machiavelli understood this principle in the courts of power. But it applies everywhere, even in your home, even in your career, even in your relationships. If you appear soft, they will test you. If you appear desperate, they will use you. If you appear dependent, they will abandon you. If you appear commanding, they will bend. It is not who you are. It is what you appear to be. And until you master this, you will always wonder why you are treated as less. Think about how easily you are shaped. A raised eyebrow from someone you admire, and suddenly you doubt yourself. A cutting word from someone you love, and suddenly you shrink. A rumor spreads, and suddenly the entire crowd treats you differently. Nothing in you changed, only the perception of you shifted. And yet that was enough to dismantle your footing. Do you understand now? You are not living in reality. You are living in a hall of mirrors, and in those mirrors, others twist your reflection while you stare helplessly. You must become the one who controls the mirror. You must decide what reflection they see. Machiavellian strategy dictates you learn to master the art of projection, not through begging, not through explanations, through discipline, through control, through shaping every signal you emit until they have no choice but to see you as you command. This is psychological warfare. This is power in its rawest form. You were conditioned to believe people value authenticity. Wrong. They value effectiveness. They value presence. They value force. Authenticity is celebrated only when it is wrapped in power. A powerful person's authenticity is admired. A powerless person's authenticity is pitied. You must choose which one you want to be. Do you want admiration or pity? Do you want command or irrelevance? The difference lies in perception. Look at history. Kings who appeared weak were overthrown. Generals who appeared hesitant lost before the first battle. Leaders who appeared uncertain were devoured by rivals. Machiavelli recorded it all. The pattern never changes. It is perception that determines loyalty, fear, respect. It is perception that keeps allies close and enemies hesitant. You cannot afford to ignore this law. Every day you do. You bleed power. The blind think respect comes from effort. They think loyalty comes from sacrifice. They think love comes from devotion. These are illusions. Respect comes from strength. Loyalty comes from fear of losing you. Love comes from the magnetism of power. If you project none of these, then your effort, your sacrifice, your devotion mean nothing. They vanish like smoke. You remain empty-handed. Ask yourself, why are you so easily controlled? Because you are predictable. Because your emotions are visible. Because your intentions are transparent. Because your defenses are down. They know when to strike. They know when you'll bend. They know what words will weaken you. You've shown them your supply lines. You've shown them your vulnerabilities. You've shown them your map. You are a general who left the war table open to the enemy. Of course they control you. Machiavellian discipline requires silence when others expect answers. Stillness when others demand reaction. Mystery when others crave explanation. You must cultivate opacity. You must become unreadable. Unpredictable. Untouchable. When they cannot map you, they cannot control you. When they cannot calculate you, they cannot exploit you. Your unpredictability becomes your strongest defense. Do you want to stop being consumed? Then stop feeding them with your transparency. Stop bleeding emotions into every interaction. Stop revealing your fears, your doute, your wounds. They are not sacred truths. They are weaknesses waiting to be used. Learn to conceal. Learn to project what strengthens you. Nothing else. If they see only what you decide, You seize control of the battlefield. The price of passivity is visible all around you. The people you let walk over you will not thank you. The manipulators you forgive will not change. The system you obey will not reward you. Passivity makes you forgettable. Passivity makes you disposable. Passivity makes you a permanent servant in someone else's empire. Do you want that? Or do you want command? If you want command, you must fight for perception as if it were territory. Imagine you are a fortress. Every gesture, every word, every silence is a wall, a tower, a defense. Would you leave the gates open? Would you leave your armory exposed? No. You would fortify. You would camouflage. You would mislead the enemy into thinking your weakness is strength. Your emptiness is abundance. Your silence is strategy. That is what Machiavellian law demands of you. That is how you turn perception into a weapon instead of a cage. But make no mistake, this requires discipline. Ruthless discipline. The kind you've never practiced because you wanted comfort. Comfort has been your poison. Comfort told you to relax. Comfort told you to trust. Comfort told you to be soft. And comfort made you pray. The time for comfort is over. You must trade it for vigilance. Every interaction is reconnaissance. Every relationship is negotiation. Every silence is calculation. This is how commanders think. This is how rulers move. Niccolo Machiavelli dictated that survival belongs not to the most honest, but to the most adaptable. You must adapt now. Adapt by mastering your presence. Adapt by controlling your tone. Adapt by projecting strength even when you are exhausted. Adapt by calculating every angle before you move. This is not paranoia, it is war strategy. And the battlefield is not in some distant kingdom. It is in your life. Right now. Every day. The consequences of staying blind are no longer abstract. Look at your life. The patterns repeat. You give. They take. You bend. They demand more. You stay silent. They erase you. You stay loyal. They betray you. How many more battles must you lose before you admit that sincerity is not enough? How many more humiliations before you accept that perception is the real battlefield? How many more years will you waste pretending this is not true? The time for illusion is finished. The mask you feared to wear is the shield that will save you. The strategy you feared to embrace is the weapon that will free you. The cold clarity you resisted is the only thing that will wake you. Machiavelli's law is not gentle. It is not comforting. It is not easy. It is brutal. But brutality is the language of survival. And if you want to survive, if you want to command, if you want to reclaim your power, you must learn to speak it. You wanted fairness. Fairness does not exist. You wanted recognition. Recognition is given to those who seize it. You wanted loyalty. Loyalty belongs to power, not to weakness. Every illusion you clung to has already cost you years, and the longer you cling, the deeper the chains cut. Enough. There is no more room for self-deception. Niccolo Machiavelli made one thing clear. The battlefield does not forgive the soft. If you appear harmless, you will be handled like a tool. If you appear replaceable, you will be replaced. If you appear disparity, you will be discarded. You can protest all you want. You can call it unjust. You can call it cruel. But cruelty is reality. And reality does not bend for your comfort. It crushes you until you either adapt or vanish. You have lived like a soldier without armor. You've walked into every negotiation naked, thinking truth would protect you. It didn't. You've entered every relationship unguarded, thinking love would shield you. It didn't. You've stepped into every room with your soul on display, thinking openness would earn respect. It didn't. It earned contempt. It earned exploitation. It earned silence. Your life is a record of what happens when you ignore perception. But the record can end here. If you decide, if you kill the illusions once and for all, if you harden yourself into strategy, you are not helpless. You are not broken. You are untrained. That is the difference. And training begins now. Discipline your presence. Stop moving like prey. Straighten your stance. Control your eyes. Silence your fidgeting. Speak less. And when you speak, cut deep. Every word a strike. Every pause a maneuver. You must project that you are not to be wasted. Not to be dismissed. Not to be underestimated. This is not about arrogance. This is about command. Guard your emotions. Stop bleeding them into the open. They are not sacred gifts, they are ammunition. And right now, you're handing ammunition to the enemy. Conceal your doute. Hide your weakness. Show only what strengthens your position. If they cannot read you, they cannot control you. If they cannot predict you, they cannot own you. Reinforce your value. Stop acting like an option. Move as if you are inevitable. Speak as if you are necessary. Position yourself as if losing you would cost them everything. This is not wishful thinking. This is projection. The more you project it, the more they believe it. And belief is what governs their behavior. Withdraw from the childish need for approval. Approval is the leash of the weak. The desperate beg for it. The strong create it. Machiavelli knew that love and approval are luxuries. Fear and respect are necessities. If you are respected, approval may follow. But if you chase approval, you will never be respected. Choose which matters more. Do not confuse this with cruelty. This is not about punishing others. This is about survival. This is about positioning yourself so that you cannot be ignored, dismissed, or used. This is about mastering perception until it shields you like armor and cuts like a blade. You must begin to see life for what it is. A war of signals, images, projections. Every room you enter is a campaign. Every interaction is a battle. Every impression is a skirmish that determines whether you advance or retreat. The weak ignore this and lose silently. The cunning embrace it and rise. Which one will you be? Stop telling yourself you are misunderstood. Stop whining about being overlooked. Stop waiting for someone to finally see your worth. If they don't see it, it doesn't exist. If they don't perceive it, it has no value. Control how they see you or remain invisible. That is the law. That is the only law that matters. Niccolo Machiavelli once dictated that appearances are stronger than reality. And he was right. Because perception is what moves armies, what sways crowds, what topples kings. Perception is what will determine whether you are devoured or feared, forgotten or followed, erased or remembered. You cannot afford to delay. You cannot afford to hesitate. Every moment you hesitate, the enemy gains ground. So, here is the final choice. Stay blind. Stay soft. Stay honest without armor. Continue living as prey. Continue being consumed. Continue watching others seize what could have been yours. Or strip the illusions. Kill the naivety. Sharpen your image. Harden your presence. Control how they see you. Dominate the battlefield of perception until you are untouchable. There is no middle ground. You are either the one shaping the mirror or the one trapped inside it. You are either the commander or the commanded. You are either feared or forgotten. Choose. Now,